Hello, this is David Trainer with Southern States, and today I'm going to show you how to build yield maps in the FieldView cab app using in-season imagery. So first off, we're going to select the FieldView cab app, and then we go into settings, and then we go into data. In the upper right hand corner it says add field data. We select that. Now we want to add an activity, and we select the next button, and then the next button again. We find the field that we want to use, so 134. And now we're going to select the equipment. It will know when we select a planter, so we'll select a John Deere corn planter, that we're going to be building a planting map. So I'm going to put our 28,000 seeds per acre, and then we're going to select the hybrid. So you can select from your list or add a new one. And this is 5678. And then you can see the options we've got on here. VT2 Pro. And we'll select that. And then now we go back and select the date that was planted on. So let's go to April 20th. And then we press the add button and it creates our map. Next, we're going to build our yield map. But before we start to build the yield map, we need to go in and find which in-season image we want to use. So if we select map, and then field 134 is the field I'm going to use, but you can select it from your list or just search it. Then we're going to go in and look at the in-season imagery. So by selecting the drop-down menu on the right, we'll find in-season, and then we look at the images that have been collected. So first we'll look at the July 23rd image. And so we pull this one up, and you notice on the right hand side we have a big, the red area. So this isn't a good in-season image to use. We'll actually look at the true color, and you can see why. Because that right hand portion of the field is covered in a shadow from the clouds. So we're going to disregard this image, and we'll go back into July 18th and look at the scouting image for that. And that looks a lot truer to how this farm lays. So we're going to remember the July 18th as the image that we look to use to build the map. So if we go back home, now that we have our planting map created, we're going to go in and build our harvest map. So again, we'll select settings, data, add field map, and then add activity. We select the 134. This time we're going to go and select our custom combine, and we'll enter the pounds harvested. If you don't have the exact yield, just go in and use a close number just to be able to build the yield map to show the variation. Then we can enter in moisture. Let's do 15%. And now, if the grower has already harvested the field, you can put the correct harvest date in there. But if you're building this before the field is actually harvested, just use the date you've got in there. Now we'll select the crop. And then remember, the cloud cover in the July 23rd map. So we want to select July 18th. And it goes to creating our map. So if you noticed, I clicked the Cloud Sync button in the lower left-hand corner, and over in the lower right-hand corner, Building Maps for 134 showed up. So at that point, it goes through and shows you that it's actually building it in the background. So now we can come in here and we select Planting, And the hybrid map that we made a few minutes ago is showing up properly now. And then we come into harvest and the yield map is showing up. The yield map shows up, but you notice that my legend over on the right hand side isn't currently matching up. So by selecting the drop down menu on the right and pressing the edit button, we can come in here and put a max, which we'll say is going to be 200, and we'll do a min of, let's say, 140, and do done. You can also adjust the number of steps or the number of breaks that are out there. So once we have it done, then we're able to pull up the yield map. So in a matter of 10 minutes, we've gone through and built a hybrid map for the grower and a harvest map, a yield map for the grower. So for the growers that don't have compatible equipment, or for the growers that don't currently have yield monitor capabilities on their combine, this is a really easy tool to start building data for these growers to use. And some of the other features within FieldView that we can use are the yield field report that shows us hybrids, shows us yield, moisture, and the acres that was covered. And then as well, we have the harvest summary report, which we're able to, again, see a simple summary. But then if you press the Create Map PDF button in the upper right-hand corner, it gives them a picture of the map with the data listed there below it. So he can then either print this from this or email it to himself to be able to print off, or email it to any landlords. So it's a great way to get this data and share it across the operation. Now we're going to take a minute to compare how these in-season images compare to yield maps. So here's an in-season image from a field back in 2018, and we're going to compare this image against the yield map. So as we pull this up, and I select the harvest map, and then we see some red areas on the map down here, and those directly line up with the poor yielding areas across this field. And as we move up into some of these greener areas, you can definitely see how the yield map correlates to this map. So it's reasons like this that the tool building yield maps off of in-season imagery is a very valuable tool for the growers that don't have the equipment to build yield maps. This is a September image. We're going to compare that now to what the yield map looked on this field. So as we select yield, you notice as we zoom around over here in this poor portion of the field, that's the lighter yielding areas. You zoom down to these areas that are showing heavier or greener on the image. Those are actually the higher yielding areas in the field, whereas some of these poorer spots are definitely the lighter area. So this is the reason that we can put the trust in building a yield map off of in-season imagery.